Good morning, fam. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Of course, we up first and quicker. Get everything together for for Facebook. Hopefully, we'll be able to do YouTube soon. And as promised, the iOS is on its way. Still working our way through that, right? Still working our way through that. Got to build step by step. Um, as we do this thing, it becomes uh, a little bit more expensive every, like, cause as my list grows, the more expensive it becomes. To do a lot of stuff that we got to build up stuff slowly. Especially to have some responsibility outside of the show. And I do take my responsibility for the show seriously, so not belittling. But I think today is yellow. Double check. There's Nia. Yes, it is. What a beautiful yellow that we toast the church this year day of birth. Oh, I see Sister CeeLo found out that she is a yellow cat, right? Oh, So, the show was on late last night, so I'm not expecting um a lot of people to join this morning, but everybody that does join is of course welcome. I want to welcome you to the congregation of the mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Oh man, anime up. This is the Heart of a Simple production. And of course, this is your daily toast. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigm. Oh man, good morning to you, great men to you, Brother Kwame. Drink your water. Oh, come on, drink your water, but first, take your breath in, drink some water. Take your breath in, drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Drink, 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 drink. Or should I say, breathe, then drink. Now, lift your glass and pour some water. Lift your glass and pour some water. Lift your glass and pour some water. Lift your glass. Drink, 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 drink. Or should I say, pour, lift, pour, lift, or lift, pour. Move your body, drink some water. Come on now, stretch. Move your body, drink some water. Come on. Lift your body, drink some water. Come on. Move your body. Drink, 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 drink. Drink, 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 drink. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass. Drink, 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 drink. Drink, drink, toast, drink. Now take your breath and drink some water. Raise your glass and drink some water. Move your body, drink some water. Raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Breathe, live, move, drink. Got it? Breathe, live, move, drink. Take your breath. Lift your glass. Move your body. Toast your ancestors. Drink, 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 drink. Take your breath. Lift your glass. Move your body. Raise your cup. Drink, 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 drink. Great Nia, and what a great time to kind of have a discussion that I want to kind of get on today. And I know a lot of y'all just rolling up out of bed, like myself. And, I want to say once again, great Nia to you. But it's some, I ain't going to say necessarily urgent, but it's some conversation that we have to have. So last night I told y'all that I wanted to share some information with y'all about an article I was reading, and I left the article at school, so I have to pull from Politico, Political magazine article. Because like I said, I'm looking into this society. It's called the Federalist Society because I've been hearing about it for a while now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it just caught my attention. And then they did a nice piece on the New Yorker podcast. I can't remember what it's called, on NPR. So I'm looking for it, and I couldn't find this podcast, but I found this uh, this article in Politico, and they called it "The Weekend at Yale That Changed American Politics." It's not too extreme to say that one wonky student group founded in 1982 has reshaped the Supreme Court. Come on, man. Reshaped. Oh my God. Reshaped the Supreme Court and the nation. What actually happened at the birth of the Federalist Society. So I was reading through, and I just want to share some stuff that I can remember. Here, let me see. Here, in fact, is what happened. The birth of the Federalist Society. I'm reading from the Political article. In the 36 years since, it has become one of the most influential legal organizations in history, not only shaping law students' thinking, but changing American society itself by diligently shifting the country's judiciary to the right. Its members filtered into presidential administration and federal court. Robert Bork, one of the featured speakers at the first symposium, was nominated to the Supreme Court, and although he wasn't confirmed, another big-name speaker from that weekend later was Antonin Scalia, who would anchor the Supreme Court conservative wing. Today, a remarkable 4 of 9 of the country's top justices have Federalist Society ties, and the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh, literally picked from a list given to President Donald Trump by the organization's executive vice president, would make 5. Over the years, the Federalists have honed a disciplined, excessively modest narrative of their origins and purpose, that they are simply a facilitator of the exchange of ideas, a high-minded fulcrum of right-of-center thought, a debating society that doesn't take overtly partisan political positions. That narrative is not wrong. It's just not the whole truth. The full story of the initial weekend, based on an interview with people who were there, as well as the seldom read words of the speeches recorded in 1982 issue of the conservative Harvard Journal of Law and Public Policy, reveals something different. The effort was, from the get-go, aggressively political. There was a feeling of stealing for a fight. Brother Kwame said organizations like the Fellow Society is how Vice VP Pence came to power. And the reason that I'm trying to look and show evidence, not just of secret societies like Elder Ajani used to, because you know how I used to be, but I want to show people how culture shape reality, right? Culture shape reality. This is a cultural group. This is a group of like-minded people who wanted to influence something and were able to do so. Were able to do so by coming together and pulling their network. Now I know, because I know a lot of people like, Brother Hatim, when you look at this, it was started at an Ivy League school, so these individuals have money. Now this is my question to you, and I hear you, and believe you me, I'm not one to look at you and be like, money is not important. Not on that shit. I left that bag back in my 30s, late 30s. You know what I'm saying? After 35, that money ain't important shit kind of start falling off. After you got, you know what I'm saying, young people in your life that you have to look out for, as well as children. Let's just say you got children to look out for. That shit, you know what I'm saying? You have to start dealing with reality at that, the reality, that part of reality. Not that you ain't not, I wasn't dealing with reality, but I had to start dealing with that part of reality. It's the same way the police departments across the U.S. have come to full-scale infiltrate with white racists. Exactly. And my point is, if we want something, there's no reason we can't have it if we play the long game. And this, that's what the Federalists played, what white racists played was the long game. Was the long game. And it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with us taking our young people and being specific with someone? You, right here, you gonna be mad. What do you mean? You gonna be mad. You gonna run the school board. You gonna be police. And start, forming a network group of individuals that are pushing. If we're going to be here, right? If we're going to be here, forming a network group, forming a family, forming a tribe whose primary goal is to take what we want by playing the long game. And I know a lot of us are like, Brother Hatem, we don't have a lot of time. For family, you know what I'm saying? We have to start. We got to kind of extend our vision. You understand what I'm saying? I know a lot of us is doing it. I know I'm preaching to the choir, because I know there's some of us out here that are preparing individuals. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we really need to start finding ways to put people in key places so that we can make shit happen, and make sure that the individuals that we put in those key places, right, are beholden to the group. Because that's exactly what you see here, right? He said, I think they did see it along. See, I think, damn. They were stealing for a fight. Now, for those that don't know what that means, the word stealing is Steeling. You had young people preparing for a fight. I think they did see it as a long-term battle, said Amanda Hollis Brusky, a Panoma College political scientist and author of the Ideas with Consequences, a book about the Federalist Society. But it is something that stood out here. The effort was from the get-go aggressively political. There was feelings of stealing for a fight. Now, where is my piece? Uh, um, so, all right, here goes. Perhaps even more important than the content of the speeches that was, so basically what happened, you had a group of young people bring in older conservatives, right? And then bringing in these older conservatives, right? Um, they were able to cement a group and develop relationships in key places that once they were able to get one person in, they were able to, well, not even just get one person in. One person got in, but after other young people heard what was going on, they wanted to be part of it. So in all these Ivy League schools, you had Federalist societies being formed because a lot of them came to the original weekend at Yale, and they wanted to take that energy home. Just like with Simba, right? When I first went to Simba, I wanted to bring Simba back. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it was a fire. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get to it. Now, I just want to find one part, and then we're gonna finish this for the day. Perhaps even more important than the content of the speeches was what happened in the less scheduled moments outside the lecture hall, over lunch and dinner and drinks. People who knew one another's work and ideology in many instances met for the first time. Scalia and Bork took smoke breaks, convincing with eager, genuflecting students. The fact that students wanted to talk to you and wanted to hear your views, I thought, boy, this is terribly refreshing, Olson told me. And I had these kinds of conversations. It was almost as if there were people that were hungry that just needed to be fed. Now this is an elder looking at the young people saying this, right? Morton Blackwell, president of the Leadership Institute and longtime organizer of Young Conservatives, recalled the sensation of sparks flying. Nice sparks, he said in an interview. Bright sparks. They continued into the evening. There were parties that went into the night. And Grover Joseph Reese III, another one of the speakers, students with sleeping bags crammed into dorm rooms. So to even so too even did some of the presenters. I remember said Michael McConnell, then the 27-year-old assistant general counsel to the Office of Management and Budget, and now a law professor at Stanford. I slept on somebody's floor I didn't even know. It is no exaggeration to suggest that it was perhaps the most effective student conference ever, a blueprint in retrospect for how to marry youthful enthusiasm with intellectual oomph to achieve far-reaching results. Now hold on, and this is where I'm gonna stop. The seeds of the symposium and ultimately the Federalist Society as a whole had been planted at least 2 years earlier, in the fall of 1980. Calabrese will recall in an interview with the ABA Journal, he was struck by what happened when the 88 members of his first year's class at Yale, listen to this, when the first 88 uh, when the first 88 members of his first year class at Yale Law were asked whether they had voted for Reagan. Only two people raised their hands. Either the student body was really that ideologically imbalanced, or many were reluctant to open up about their conservative preferences. It was almost immaterial. We needed an we needed an organization to at least encourage others to come forward, Calabrese said. In Chicago, along with McIntosh, Lieberman thought the same thing. there was no student organization that seemed interested in Reagan's legal ideas. She said later in an interview with a University of North Carolina doctoral student, Jonathan Ryle, who wrote his dissertation about the Federalist Society, and this seemed a little odd given that he had just won the presidency. So, all I'm saying is, like, I'm like, they threw together, they threw together a group of young people and elders. A group of young people and elders ended up in a room. The young people were interested in the elders' philosophy, and sparks flew. And the sparks that flew reached from 1982 all the way up to 2018. And family, all I'm saying is that if this process is now already going on in your community, we need to find different ways to get small pockets of this popping off. Now, I can only speak for Columbus. I only can do what I can do where I am, right? But the fact of the matter is, those of you that are in different places, even on different sides of Columbus, we have to find ways to bring, as they called it, that we have to find a way to marry youthful enthusiasm with intellectual oomph. I'm gonna leave it right there, man. Right. So let's go and drink this water. Let me find some music. Since we had a good show last night, let's use the theme song from last night's show. Drink your water, fam.
Mr. Diddy, Mr. Diddy, Mr. Diddy.
All right. Now, there's one proverb we didn't cover, and it is by Eddie Cantor, and it says that it takes 20 years to become an overnight success. God damn that! I mean, it boggles my mind how all this shit comes together like this. It takes 20 years to become an overnight success. Family, we have a long-term game, a long-term hand that we have to play. I know some of y'all want results right away. Some of y'all even want to see some of this in our lifetime. I remember when I was younger, I wanted that. But family, we have to understand that a lot of us, because we believe we get to live our life and it belongs to us and it's nobody else's business what I do with my life, we believe that we exist in a sprint. But let me tell you, it is a marathon. It is a marathon. Not only is it a marathon, it's a super marathon. But we have to pass the baton to the next every 26 miles or every generation, we have to be able to pass the baton. And I'm saying we don't need to be the group. We don't need to be the group that shows up at the exchange point with no baton in our hand. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, no power stands on its own. So we can have all the social clout. Because I'm so sick of all black folks. We influence culture all over the world. People dress like us. People want to talk like us. But social power without economic power is not power. And economic power without political power is not power. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? And political power without social power is a contingent. When you put it around all aspects, when you look at it, you have to master all of those. You got to get all those to work. So let me go and finish my libation and get out of here, family. So listen, let me go. So the article is the weekend that changed the weekend at Yale that changed American politics is in the political. Look up the Federalist Society. Not that you really need to read about the Federalist Society, but just get the idea of what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I could, like I said, I can't speak for everywhere, but I could talk about where we are, what's going on, but I ain't gonna talk about what's going on. Yes, I will. All right. So, got my little bit of thing. I gotta say something for Quasi Low. He come around like he said he was. He gon' have some. So, alright, so first giving honor to the Creator by whatever name you choose to call the Creator. We lift up our glass and we salute and we say, Ashe. Amen, family. Of course, gotta pull up our list and start reading off the names of those beautiful people, those ancestors upon whose shoulders we stand. Miles Brown, Ms. Ann, Robert Texander Davis, Hunt Brown Sr., Rosalie Tilly, Georgia Willie Walter, Christopher Fanny Gaston, Aunt Lena, Uncle Chris, Alfine, Cleveland, Geneva Brown, Margaret Ellis, Watts Ellis, Lisa Ellis, Alvaro Brown, Gina Gaines, Hunt Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Watts Ellis Jr., Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Amon Jones, Jeremiah Tappan, John Falar, Martha Q. Pimenel, No More X, Pat Maya Ra, Mika Fakur, Dr. Marianne Williams, Kojo Kamal, Elder Farmer, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusuf Weston, Elder Ajani, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Brofo, Exeter Jr., Jay Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling Lucy Wright, Dave L. Pullian, the Lusty Brother, Miss Edith Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley C., Miss Jerry Brunson, Mr. Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie Dow, Jennifer Foster, Charles Jordan, Carol Smith, Walter Smith, Mr. Trish, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Rendelman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Louis Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Wayne Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Carolyn D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Nelson Dale Hodge, Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clay, Bert Beatty, Sarah Well, Levita Farmer, Argos Sue, Cheryl Harvey, Charmaine, Evelyn Theola Tasbury, Harvey Hasbury Sr., Linda Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Phil Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thornton, Pearl G. Thornton, Ida Johnson. Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thornton, Edgar Tricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, May Esther Clarice, Linda Watson Hammond, Terrell Giles Watson, Sparrow Slimmy, Selvin Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore Jr., Major Orange, Booker T. Bolden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Hilda Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Lavina Hall, Freeman Bankster, Mae Moss, Sophia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kennedy, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quills, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quills, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, Charles Bear, Vivian Ramsey, S.E. Johnson, Delrita Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W. West Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry Wells, James Farmer, May Tevez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Hattie Investor, May Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martinez, Elder Amitab Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Delma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey Eleanor Howe, Frankie Russell Davis, Fred Douglas Triggs II, Vina Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy May Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brendan Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carla Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy. We also have the Freitas Hines on his Bostic and the Bostic Winifred Scanterbury, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratling, Campbell Spratling, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Pintup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbur Longmire, Edith Catney, James Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Pena Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, R.G. Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Jennifer Sensabaugh, Hazel Gaston, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kanika Parsons, Jason Caffey, Stacey Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Irvin, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Doyle, Mina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G. Gibson, Donnie Hill, Richard Gleavis, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Brochet, George and Haley Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Aunt Becca, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eulin Andrew Baker, Patricia Edward Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harriet Tubman Cates, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatch, Hatch Senior, Mally Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Nissen, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Doretha Ross, Viola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Millie Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Cofer, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mary Francis, Capel Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Harrison, Margaret Towns, Mae Williams, Leroy Q. Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Vanilla, Albert Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Arlington Houston, Lud Alls, Elijah Alls, Jerome Alls, Henry West Staten, Joe Jamel Alls, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Beth Vaughn, John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Tim Butler, Rainey, Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Barbara Naeem, Jeanette Sanders, J.C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Brantley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Laurel Ellis, Elizabeth Battles, Henrietta Urban, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Urban, Haroon Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Urban Sr., Michael Urban, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easy, Rayshawn Easy, Javea McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Edward R. Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Lois Fernandez, Jacqueline Broadus, Reginald Oliver, Nazarene Cofer, and George Swan, Monia Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott, Michael and Charlene Morgan, Sybil Edward McNabb. We lift up our glass and we say, Ashe. All right, family, we move from there to the present moment. We are on Nia today. For those that don't know, Nia is purpose. That's also the M7 of the day. The modic principle of the day is balance. The color is yellow. The hermetic law is rhythm. Male name is Kofi. Female is Afua. Okay, Miss CeeLo. That's you, Afua. I think you said you was born on Nia. Congratulations on finding your day. Emotional Emancipation Circles, African-centered cultural virtue and value system. Today we are on, in Wolof, we are dealing with Mandu, being a picture of what you have, not envious of others, Akan ethics, justice, traditional Yoruba, we're looking at T2, which is enduring. All right? So from there, we move on and we toast our children's children onto infinity. You know what I'm saying, family? We not only got to lay the foundation, but some we may need to kind of, you know what I'm saying, lay the whole road work to where we need them to be, right? Because, you know, we have specific needs. And we need to make sure we got people that's going to be able to provide those needs, right? So let's live up as a group, not as individuals, you know what I'm saying? But let's live up our glass, we say our shade. From there, we move on from there to all of our relations, and we say our shade. From all of our relations, we move to that personal toast, that selfish toast, family. What is it that you mean? We lift our glass up to it and we say Ashe. Last but not least, toast the most powerful being in the room, and that's you. And with that, I say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, peace, power, joy, and 100 years. Y'all have a great day, family. I am out, and we have completed another astounding feat of the congregation of mighty. We have completed another day of toast. We say, I say. Well, shut your mouth, Anime. Anime was, she happy, you know. All right. She was kind of in depression for a while, but hey. All right, family. So, yo, I'm out. Peace.